Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another wrestling news log. I'm James Phoenix. He's Jeff,
What's up?
and this is the show where we go through the week in wrestling news. It's pretty much that. I read the stuff, we talk about it. No big whoop. A lot of most weeks we do have the wheel, but we have a lot of interconnected topics this week, so I'm foregoing it, and we're just going to go down the list and read them in the order I feel like. So let's see here. Our topic this week is a week of injuries. There's a lot of them. We're going to get to those in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
At the top of the list here, mention this real fast. Last Saturday, in a surprise ending in the fatal four-way match at the TV tapings in Fairfax, Jay Lethal captured the ROH Heavy World Championship.
Okay then.
Jay Lethal beat champion Dalton Castle with the lethal injection after Cody and Matt Taven were taken out in a Tower of Doom spot. So, new ROH champion.
Congratulations to Jay Lethal.
Indeed. However, let's see. Let me do that. Go back. It might perhaps be a bit unfortunate that happened this week.
Okay.
Because this is also the week that something that has apparently been ongoing but been not publicly known, became publicly known this week.
Okay.
Former Women of Honor performer Taylor Hendricks, that's Taeler Hendricks,
Okay.
took to social media
Yeah.
and apparently it was an ongoing investigation, but she ended up mentioning it offhand in a Twitter conversation, and it kind of blew up a bit. She worked for Ring of Honor in the Women of Honor division in 2011, and then again from 2015 to 2017, announcing her departure on April 4th of last year. And I'm not going to read all the details, but in summation, and basically, it was noted that Taylor Hendricks was never pushed during her time in ROH.
Okay.
And the claim being put out is that she was not pushed because she refused to sleep with Jay Lethal, who was the champion at the time.
Okay then.
Basically claiming that he went basically because she wouldn't sleep with him. He went to management and had her sabotaged. And she says that attorneys have an ongoing investigation, though exactly how long is not determined. But apparently, her attorneys were investigating and on all this before it blew up on the internet. And so, of course, now there's both sides going on. Some people are of course taking her side and saying that obviously women shouldn't, and nobody, whether women, men, or otherwise, should have to go through that in the workplace, and that they're sorry that her career may have been hindered by refusal of a sexual advance. Well, of course, there are always some on the other side who say that they're certainly sympathetic, but
they don't think it's true.
Yeah, they don't necessarily believe it, or at least they want to know if there's proof. And Taylor says that she obviously she's been getting some hate on it as you do. I mean, we all remember how this sort of thing. Obviously, that was a more a more criminal action when this whole thing happened with Enzo. But we all remember how that went down, with some people saying that Enzo was obviously innocent, being accused by this liar, and other people siding with the the accuser who of course had the story about what happened, and a lot of people certainly believed her just purely based on Enzo's the character that he presents, which is well known to be 98% who he actually is.
Yeah.
So there's certainly obviously hate on both sides. There's some people being cordial about it, saying, I'll wait to see how this turns out. If it did happen, I'm sorry, but I don't want to judge Jay Lethal before there is, some kind of evidence, which is fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And of course there are always that small percentage of assholes who are just going to outright treat people like crap because they have an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Who are just going to outright accuse her of lying, trying to gain attention, and some people are claiming that she has a history of lying, but as far as I can tell, there's been no proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that may or may not be true. I don't know, but this is what's going on as of right now.
I would say it is a little suspicious that she just casually mentions this in like a tweet or something, like on the day that Jay Lethal happens to become ROH champion again. That is a little bit suspicious, you have to admit.
And I can certainly understand the perspective. It came up in context of this, basically in a conversation back and forth with some people on Twitter.
Mm.
It started off somebody mentioning they missed the House of Truth, and she added that it should have been the House of Hendricks. What has Truth or Jay done? What did they draw? Being a funny guy with a book, the other one only talks about his time in Impact copying legends.
Mm.
And then when somebody else made a point about Jay Lethal's career accomplishments, now a two-time ROH World Champion, the longest reigning ROH TV champion, and of course the only man to have at one point in time held both those belts at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And her response was, also the dude you're standing up for is the same dude that told me because I didn't sleep with him, they sabotaged me and took me off TV.
Mm.
That being the almighty Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the information coming from her is that basically that she was not pushed, and Jay told her, this is why you were not pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's actually why she was not pushed remains to be seen.
Right.
If that was why she's not pushed, that is really shitty, and don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
So we will just have
take
to
your
wait.
lesson from Batista. Don't do that.
Yeah. And some people on the internet, there was somebody with a podcast claiming that someone else had come forward to Jay of this kind of behavior, but there didn't seem to be any substantiating information on that, so I'm not really sure exactly how that's going down. But that situation, ROH put out a statement about the situation.
Okay.
Where they basically said, we were unaware of this, we could take it very seriously, we're currently investigating, and we will take actions in line with the results of that investigation.
Yeah, but if what she says is true, that's complete horse shit, because what she outright said was that he went to you guys to de-push her, so obviously you knew about it.
Well, they said, and I quote, we were troubled to hear the allegations that surfaced last night on Twitter. We take these matters very seriously and will be investigating the situation thoroughly, reviewing all evidence related to the matter. Ring of Honor strives to provide an environment and workplace where male and female wrestlers are free from any misconduct or abuse. We will take appropriate action upon the conclusion of our findings. Because the other question is who she went to. Because like I said, if it was just, Lethal was friends with the bookers and went to the bookers and they didn't push her, then it's possible upper management might not have been aware.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like, if something like this were to happen, say in WWE, it's entirely possible that, let's say it's happened in WWE, and let's say the Superstar question went to, whoever the head the booker was for either Raw or SmackDown.
Road Dogg.
Or Road Dogg for SmackDown, yeah, and then whoever it is for Raw at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
If they went to that person, if a talent would not acquiesce to the request of another talent, and that another talent then went to the booker who was a friend of theirs and said, hey, this person is really sucking, and as a result of that action, the Booker requested chose not to push the superstar and then gave other reasons why they weren't being pushed or they were never asked about it. That doesn't necessarily mean that if that situation happened, that Triple H, Stephanie, or Vince would know about it.
True.
And in particular, with everything they're doing, they're not going to want the bad press. So they're going to want to at least verify whether something did in fact happen, or at least try to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the majority of these kind of situations, it pretty much almost always boils down to a he said, she said. There's very rarely any physical evidence to lean one way or another. Usually the only way things go one way or another is if there are corroborating testimonies, and sometimes even that's not enough, depending on who the person knows, doesn't know, is close with, whatever. So all we can do is say that we certainly hope this isn't true, but if it is, then we hope that appropriate as Hendricks made the point that obviously, at this point in time, she's still one of the biggest non-WWE female wrestlers in the world. And it's not, at this point, the results will not have an effect on her one way or another. But her hope was to bring it out there so that if there are other women who are dealing with with similar actions or other kinds of actions that are causing these kinds of problems, to know that they're not alone and that they should speak up too. All right. Where are we going next?
I don't know. I thought you had a plan.
I kind of do. We're gonna float a little bit, but we'll do it. All right, let's cleanse. That's very unfortunate, but let's go to a little positive news. Cleanse the palate a little bit. Let's certainly keep those things in mind, but let's move on here. Cedric Alexander.
Okay.
Again, last Saturday.
It's
worth noting. I'm not going to choose to put the picture up here, although it is a nice picture, and I will give you the link to the picture so you can at least look at it.
Okay.
But last Saturday, Cedric Alexander got married.
Oh, well, congratulations, champ.
Indeed. Let me throw this over to you, and you can take a look at the picture on.
Did he walk down the aisle with the Cruiserweight title?
I don't know. The picture is of him and his new bride dancing. His bride, by the way, is at Ariel Monroe, known female professional wrestler.
Is that why she has the green mohawk?
Yep, she's
Fair.
Afro-Portuguese, wrestles on the indie circuit, as far as I can tell.
D.A. Brewer, so he's a ref, looks like?
Maybe.
He's apparently at NXT. Oh, that's what that belt is. He's an NXT ref. That's him holding the NXT championship.
Ah, fair enough.
Apparently, I guess he's friends with Cedric then. That would make sense.
Good for him. But anyway, yeah, so they were wed. There was a photo of them, and congratulations to them. Many happy years.
Absolutely.
All right. On a related note, and I'm sure it'll come up tomorrow when we're doing the full recap, but don't forget to stay tuned for 205 Live this week, where Cedric will defend his Cruiserweight title against Hideo Itami. All right. What else we got here? Speaking of relationships, so perhaps we can get some grasp on this once and for all. Nikki Bella did an interview this week.
Okay.
This is posted back on July 1st. And in regards to her relationship with Cena, she stated that it's been a super emotional roller coaster ride, and I think it's hard for people to understand because we film and then things get shown a few months after, and people are like, are they together? Are they not? Because I am a reality star, and I do have a reality show, I feel like I have to say, what's the update on John and I? But right now, we're just friends. We're both working on each other and trying to work on us. We talk every day. He is not only my best friend, he's truly one of the most amazing people I've ever met. He has patience with me and has really taught me a lot over the past few months. I think one of those things is an inner strength that I thought I had, but I didn't realize how strong I had it. I don't know. I do have a hope for us. Hopefully one day we'll get back together, and if we don't, we just both want each other to be very, very happy.
Hmm.
And she also added that it's nice that because Cena is in filming a movie in China right now, that would be that movie he's in with Jackie Chan, I believe.
Right.
She said that it's giving time in life to see where they want for the future, where they're going. Nikki emphasizing that she doesn't want to be one of those people who is, divorced or who has kids or this relationship or that relationship. She wants to, do the marriage thing right, walk down the aisle once and that'd be it. So she doesn't want to rush into something if there's a possibility that they're not on the same page and it might not go the distance, which is completely understandable.
Absolutely.
She did also add that the season finale of Total Bellas is just very honest, raw, and real, and you will see why John and I are where we're at today. So stay tuned for that. All right. What else we got here? Speaking of things that are, how did she phrase that? Raw what? I closed the thing already. I don't remember what she said. Honest, raw, and real. Well, I don't know about the honest and real part, but speaking of things that are raw. Let's see. So there's rumors floating around because the PBG Paints Arena, which will be hosting Extreme Rules next weekend, apparently has been updating the match listing for the event.
Oh, okay.
And so there are some things on there that have not been officially announced by WWE yet.
Oops.
Yeah, a lot of arenas do that. That's the PBG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. Things that are
Kurt Angle not wrestling there?
I don't know. But according to the arena, Roman versus Lashley is set for the show, which fair enough, we kind of all knew that was coming. Actually, was that confirmed on Raw? I'm trying to remember if they actually confirmed that on Raw or not.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Anyway, in addition to justify the theme of the event, in some ways, in addition to the Raw Women's title match that was announced on Raw to be an Extreme Rules match, the arena is listing Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, again, it's not a surprise, but it's listing them inside a steel cage.
So they're going to put two big men not known for climbing into a structure where the only way to win is to climb out.
Tell that to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but he didn't climb out. He got speared through the fucking wall.
He still won.
Technically, no, but
he's got the belt.
Yeah.
But the rulebook has a W.
My point still remains, neither of them climbed out. One speared the other through the wall.
Yeah, and you really think Braun won't immediately rip a wall off the cage in 5 seconds?
Maybe.
Yeah, Braun will just rip the whole cage down. He doesn't care. It's Braun. The idea to build it up is the fact that every time he's come into the vicinity of Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens has tried to run away. So the shtick is going to be Braun will probably demand this so that Kevin can't keep running away from him.
Yep. And actually, the fact that these two matches are happening lends credence to the rumor that I was speaking to you about before we went on the air.
What's that?
That Brock isn't showing up for SummerSlam in addition to Extreme Rules. because originally at SummerSlam it was going to be the Fatal 4-Way between the four of them for #1 contendership to face Brock at SummerSlam.
It wasn't necessarily a 4-way; it was just a multi-man match. We don't know how many guys would have been in it.
Right, but the report came out that before these matches were announced that Brock had decided he wasn't going to show up at SummerSlam or something like that. Basically, it was just he wasn't going to be there, and because he couldn't be bothered showing up. That WWE we kind of went into panic. They're like, well, we're going to have to scrap the multi-man match because now they're going to be fighting for nothing. Yeah. And here you have 2 singles matches with at least 4 of the competitors of said match because at least those 4 were going to be in it.
Probably.
So that kind of lends credence to Brock is telling WWE off because they're paying him to do so.
Yep.
So it's like, but Brock, you need to drop the title, especially if he's going to go back to UFC. He needs to drop the title before he goes back to UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't like how they're booking Roman Reigns. I don't like the character of Roman Reigns, but even I have to agree with him at this point of they need a champion that's actually fucking there.
And that's exactly what Vince wants you to think. That's the point. That's why they're doing this, because they want people to get so raving pissed off at Brock for not being there and devaluing the belt that they'll actually cheer Roman winning it.
No, they still won't cheer Roman winning it because no one's going to get that pissed off.
I don't know. Roman's been getting a decent response in recent weeks with his talk of Brock not being around and calling out the bullshit of Brock not being around. Granted, Lashley's been getting equally, if not bigger, pops for talking Roman out and talking about how he can't win the big one and that he doesn't deserve any more matches, but Roman is at least getting a decent response.
Roman's only been getting a decent response because he's been tag teaming with Seth freaking Rollins. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Seth freaking Rollins is his response.
Yeah.
Because everyone loves Seth.
True. Speaking of Seth, by the way, of course, this one was confirmed on Monday Night Raw, but it was posted on the Arena site. Yeah. Seth and Dolph rematch at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. However, as was confirmed on Monday Night Raw, that will actually be a 30-minute Iron Man match.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, based on that, all the internet rumors are basically saying, be prepared for that pay-per-view to run long.
Yeah. Especially when one of the 2 competitors is the human rubber band.
Yep. So definitely, that should be a good match.
Does Jeff have an announced match yet for Extreme Rules?
Not yet. It is rumored that he might.
Or are they trying to wait to see if Shinsuke is going to be okay?
I don't know.
To me, Extreme Rules would be kind of weird to if they have that and not book the King of Extreme in said event.
Well, I believe. I'm going to use that for a segue in a second. We'll get there. Now, because there was a report about the possible U.S. title match, and I didn't actually hold on to it because I didn't think it was going to be relevant. Now I got to see if I can find it.
Where is my super suit?
I need to see that movie. The second one.
Me too. I heard it's pretty good.
Did you go to see Ant-Man and the Wasp this weekend?
No, I did not.
Well, I said, are you going to?
Oh, am I going to? No. I'm not planning on it. Are you?
Fair. I would like to. Whether I actually get around to it, I don't know. I know I won't be able to do so tomorrow. I am off Sunday. Maybe I'll go on over and watch it on Sunday.
Fair. Yeah, I heard they turned Elastigirl into a badass.
She was kind of always a badass, but yeah.
I heard she's like the highlight of the entire movie. Like she has the best action scenes of the entire movie. That's what I read anyway.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Yes, as of right now, it's Jeff versus Shinsuke.
Fair.
For the U.S. title. So that's the book match as of right now. However, and again, maybe this is a work. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But in a follow-up, Shinsuke posted. It's been noted that Shinsuke has obviously not been wrestling on TV, and he's been showing up at house shows, but he's been on crutches.
Yes.
And he spoke with Nikon Sports, and he claimed that there will possibly be 2 more weeks before he can return to the ring. Now, that was put out on July 2nd or so, which would mean that 2 weeks would be the day after the pay-per-view. So maybe his translation is, I'm going to be okay for the pay-per-view, but don't expect to see me before then. But as of right now, he's scheduled to face Jeff still.
Fair enough. Speaking of Extreme Rules, did you have anything about Daniel Bryan on the docket?
I do not.
All right, time for the semi-rumor mill.
Okay.
So, as we all know, Daniel Bryan has not re-signed with the WWE as of this recording.
Yes.
And as we know, his contract expires in September. Now, since his return, have you ever wondered, aside from Big Cass, because fuck him, have you ever wondered why he's been booked the way he's been booked?
How is that?
Well, think about it. Look at the matches he's wrestled on SmackDown, where the majority of them are pay-per-view caliber matches. They're matches that should headline a pay-per-view. Yeah, Daniel Bryan versus AJ, Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura, stuff like that, right? You now have the return of Team Hell No.
Yes.
Well, the report is there's a method behind WWE's madness.
Okay.
And the method is they want Daniel Bryan to re-sign. But they're afraid because he hasn't. And so they're like, oh shit, if we don't have Daniel Bryan past September and we try to hold off on the big stuff to make it actually worth the while, we may lose out on being able to do it all together. So that's why they're pushing all the feuds now, because number one, for the fans, they want to get the dream matches out of the way in case Daniel Bryan doesn't re-sign. But then on the business side of it, they figure, well, if we give Daniel Bryan all these big high-profile matches and have him win a lot and stuff, maybe that will entice him to re-sign. So, going back to Extreme Rules, how this plays into that is the working theory is that Team Hell No is not going to win the tag team titles from the Bludgeon Brothers, and that The Miz is going to interfere and cost them the titles, and Kane will go off and do more politics. And that will go into the Daniel Bryan versus Miz feud, which will culminate at SummerSlam and will probably be Daniel Bryan's last high-profile feud before his contract expires. That is the working theory. So what do you think, Jim?
Interesting. Oh.
Oh, what?
I got an article here from GiveMeSport.com.
Okay.
Mentioned the sticking point here might be, according to the an interview that that Daniel Bryan did apparently, speaking to the Gorilla Position podcast, effectively noting that Daniel makes the point that basically obviously when he was injured and everything, he wanted to get back in the ring. He wanted to wrestle and be a superstar, but he wasn't planning on this. His intent was he wanted to definitely get back in the ring, but he wanted to work a more limited schedule. He said, and I quote, because when we first started talking about this, when Vince McMahon told me to send a letter to Dr. Maroon, he said for me to say for a limited schedule, like a revised concussion protocol for a limited schedule. So then they clear me and I'm just on everything. I was just like, I wasn't expecting this. He says, anywhere between 50 and 100 matches a year to me is ideal because one of the doctors that cleared me at Barrow Neurological talked to me. He said, I think when he cleared before, he said, with all the stuff that Brian had done on top of that, like before we dotted our I's and crossed our T's, with the stuff you've done on your own, you've really scratched a big hole over the I and a ripped mark through the T. So he said, I know going forward, the less exposure you have, and this is for anybody, whether you have a history or not, the healthier you're going to be. So Daniel was expecting to do maybe, 50 or 70, between 50 and 100 matches, maybe 75 to 100 matches a year. But they've got him doing like way more than that. And that's not what he had in mind when he launch this comeback.
Mm-hmm.
And that appears to be the sticking point in the contract, or possibly one of them is that WWE wants him working a full-time schedule every week, because they know he's popular, they want to get stuff out of him. But with the combination of both his health and his desire to not be away from his newborn daughter 6 days a week,
Yeah.
that's not really what he wants.
Mm-hmm. And right now, Brian's in the driver's seat because he can just walk away.
Yeah, he says. So I was thinking, I'll do 75 to 100 matches a year or whatever it is, and now it looks to be way more than that. So if I were to change something, it'd be like I'd kind of like to do less, be away from home less. Like for me, it's not about wrestling less. It's like I don't want to be away from home this much.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if he were on the independent scene, he'd have much more control of that and be able to set his own schedule.
Right.
So I guess the question at hand will be whether WWE, if it gets down to the wire, will be willing to acquiesce to all that or not.
Well, that is the question, then, isn't it?
It is a question. His contract expires on September 1st, so that would be the deadline.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Fair. I agree with Daniel Bryan, and I applaud him for sticking to his guns.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, if for nothing else, given you know what his condition was, and you've already got all these protocols in place saying you need him inspected after every match, I would think that would say to you, okay, we have this guy, we could definitely use this guy, but
don't overdo it.
Yeah. I guess my response to WWE of this would be this. Do yourselves a favor, WWE. Walk over to the Up Up Down Down YouTube channel. Watch Xavier and Breeze play GM mode SV Raw 06 sometime.
Yeah.
You book a superstar too much, you're going to cause injuries, and if they're already known to be injured, it just makes them worse. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So.
They can only make money for you if they're not dead.
Yeah.
Although with WWE, they can still make money for you even if they are dead.
Yeah. Related note, even though they put the image up, they explicitly told the announcers not to mention Vader at all.
Really?
Reportedly.
Why?
Who the hell knows? Probably because they know there's a whole lot of... they didn't want to get any people any more pissed off at them because everybody's been so pissed off at them since Vader passed. I don't know if you're aware of that.
For having not put him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he clearly came right out and said, look, my health is not good. I've probably got about 2 years to live, maybe less. And they chose not to put him in the Hall of Fame while he was alive. So we will have to wait and see what happens.
Next article.
Indeed. What else? What else? Well, anyway, between Daniel and Shinsuke. Speaking of injuries, let's talk about all the other shit that happened this week.
Okay.
All right, so starting right off the bat, on the way to the airport for last weekend's Raw Live events, Bray Wyatt totaled his rental car.
Yep.
He was treated at the Tampa General Hospital and was released. He's apparently okay, but due to the injury sustained, he was not on Raw. And there are currently questions as to exactly how long he will be not on Raw and whether he will be able to sufficiently defend the tag titles with Matt Hardy at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
He's still on the card.
thus far. Let's see here. I don't want that one. This one. Yeah, the initial reports that he was just a little banged up, but hopefully he was okay. Wyatt spoke with TMZ, saying that he smashed into another vehicle while riding to the airport. Wyatt said that he was in good spirits and up moving around, adding, "I'm going to live through it because I can't die."
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's also the one at fault.
Is he? I didn't hear that much.
I've heard somewhere that he said, yeah, he wasn't paying attention, and kaboom. So, yeah, kind of his fault.
Fair enough. I hope the other driver's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if what I heard is true, it's his fault.
Yeah. Anyway, Wyatt was scheduled to be reevaluated earlier today, actually, to see if he was going to be able to wrestle his match at Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still being advertised, so apparently WWE thinks he's going to be fine. There has not yet been any update as to how his evaluation went today.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out in the coming days.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Oh, well, I guess that answers the question.
Mm-hmm.
Over at 411 Mania. Let's see. Go away. Anyway. When did this go up? This was, yeah, according to 411 Mania, apparently Bray wrestled at the live event earlier tonight, so I guess he's fine.
Oh, okay.
They were in Philadelphia. He returned alongside Matt Hardy in a successful tag title defense against Titus Worldwide and the B Team, apparently. There was a triple threat tag match.
Okay.
They retained, of course. So, glad that Bray's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
Moving on.
Moving on. Injury list of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, undo that. Stupid. Ruby Riott fucked her knee up.
No, Dana Brooke fucked her knee up.
Okay, fine.
Because her Dana Brooke.
Her knee is fucked up is the answer.
Yeah, she fucked her knee up in a match against Dana Brooke that she lost. So people are like, well, fuck you, Dana Brooke.
Mm-hmm. Give Dana Brooke credit. Dana Brooke is actually a good wrestler, but the problem is Dana Brooke got stuck into a match against Ruby at the last minute because of some scheduling snafu, and these two ladies had no time to plan a match and have almost never worked together. Shit happens. I mean, in this case, okay, yeah, there's a fuck up. Shit happens. It's you know, it's not like Seth Rollins who seems to go out of his way to injure everybody he wrestles.
Yeah. Including himself, apparently.
Yeah, including himself. Anyway, it was her left knee. It was at a live event last weekend. There was an MRI scheduled to determine the damage. And the results of said MRI revealed a sprain in her MCL was the result.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no information on recovery, but it depends on the severity of the sprain. You know, the recovery could be anywhere from a couple of weeks to a few months.
Yeah, but her reevaluation is scheduled, I believe, for July 30th. So
okay.
I'm praying right now that reevaluation comes back positive, or I've just lost her for the remainder of this entire season.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Mr. Grain of Salt himself from Wrestling Observer adds that apparently the match was a mess due to a bunch of people having trouble getting in, and of course Bray's car accident. Riott ended up facing Brooke in a match, even though the two rarely worked together, and it was not a match that they had been doing lately, as Brooke has barely even been wrestling. So, just a lot of last minute thrown together shit, and something went wrong.
Yeah.
All right. In news that's not necessarily injury related per se, but still is related.
They should have just had her face like Bailey at the live show or something.
You would think. But anyway, let's see. I do not see an indication here as to what for. I'm assuming it was for pain relief. But WWE Hall of Famer and a longtime road agent, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, underwent back surgery this week.
That's not good.
Actually, he's apparently great.
Okay, because I was going to say that actually has me kind of worried, considering he's supposed to be on a boat wrestling in like 2 weeks.
He's supposed to be on a boat. He's not necessarily wrestling.
Oh, I thought he was going to wrestle.
No, he's advertised as being at the event, but as far as I know, most of the wrestling is going to be the ROH dudes.
ROH v Impact, yeah.
Something like that. So I think Steamboat's there as celebrity guest. I don't think he's going to wrestle.
Okay.
But anyway, he posted a tweet at real_Steamboat if you want to follow him. He's in the hospital bed. He's smiling. He's got a thumbs up going on. Says, got up and walked down the hall about 4 hours after surgery with zero pain. Thanks for all the love and prayers sent my way. Prayer works. So, speedy recovery to the Dragon.
Indeed.
What else we got? Let's see. Where are we going to segue this to? Well, you mentioned the crew. Speaking of major independent wrestling events, we got some more names for all.
Yes, including one that's no longer going to be at All In.
Yes, I didn't have her mentioned here, but we can certainly bring that up. But confirmed for the event earlier this week were the 3 more regular members of the Being the Elite cast, the group known as SoCal Uncensored, including Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. So they will all be there.
All right, then.
Christopher Daniels put it out on Twitter saying, "Come on, guys, you didn't think we'd be all out, did you? Hashtag SCU is at All In 2018. Coming to hashtag the worst town I've ever been in. September 1st. And at All In 2018 retweeted it with SCU. So that was me there. And yes, would you like to mention?
So, Deonna Purrazzo, who was advertised as going to be at All In, has now pulled out because guess what? Vince owns her ass.
Really?
Yeah, she works for. You didn't know that? She works for NXT.
Oh, then how did she agree to do it in the first place?
Because they didn't know when they were gonna finish all the paperwork and stuff. But she was advertised as being in the Mae Young Classic this year.
Oh, okay.
But now it's confirmed she works for Vince McMahon.
Well, fair enough.
That people are saying that's why she's had to pull up. But, Cody didn't outright say it, but he said it without saying it. It's kind of funny how the kind of shade Cody threw that way.
Yeah.
Trying to give her advice because he knows exactly where she's going.
Yep.
And as Mr. Grain of Salt himself has said, and a lot of people concur with this sentiment, that at this point, there's little Vince McMahon can do to stop All In, aside from hiring everyone that's going to All In. Because obviously, if they work for Vince, Vince isn't going to let them go to All In.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly where WWE's tours are going to be on that date, but if all else fails, you can always send Triple H over with a tank.
Right. Because that wouldn't be hypocritical at all. And if they send anyone over with a tank, it's going to be the Shield with the returning Dean Ambrose.
Probably.
Or if it's the Shield, it's not going to be a tank. It's going to be a SWAT truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a thing. So welcome Deonna Purrazzo to the WWE universe.
Indeed. Look forward to seeing you. Cool. All right. Well, speaking of Impact,
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting that the annual Slammiversary is coming up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, are you done with the All In stuff?
Yeah, did you have something else?
Yes, they've actually announced a match, which people are wondering, is this a slip-up, or did something change and no one told us?
Okay.
Because Cody said, we're announcing our first ever match, despite the fact that months ago he announced that that basically the ROH title was going to be defended. So like, well, is that not a match now? But apparently, and this kind of confirms the ROH v Impact kind of thing. Was this All In? Now I'm getting confused. It was either All In or the Rockin' Ranger. It might be the Rockin' Ranger that they announced this.
Okay.
I can't remember which, but basically it's Marty Scurll is gonna fight someone from Impact. I can't remember. Probably their champion. Who's the Impact's champion?
At the moment, what the fuck's his name? Mr. I'm Too Good to Be a Cruiserweight.
Double A?
Yeah.
Oh, then it's not him, but it's someone from Impact.
No, actually, it's Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, I think that's who he's facing. I think it's Okada.
Yeah, it's All In. It's not the Cruise.
Yeah. So yeah, Marty. Because
advertising it as the villain versus the Rainmaker.
Yeah, Okada like put out the challenge, and Scurll was like, "I'm all in."
Yeah.
And I love Okada's words. He's like, I can't remember the exact words, but his reply, I'm like, "Damn, dude." He was like, "You've never been a villain to me. You've always been Party Marty." I'm just like, "Damn."
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, major shade.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the first official announced match, despite the fact Cody previously announced a match. So people are wondering, was that a slip up? And is this actually the second announced match, or is the previous match no longer gonna happen?
I don't know. I mean, according to sources, they are still listing the other match of Nick Aldis versus Cody.
Yeah.
So, but I believe the intent was, I believe the point that was put out there, because we don't know yet, up to last week, because the challenge, Nick Aldis said, "I will defend the NWA title against you, Cody, but only if you win the ROH title," which he did not.
Oh, okay, so that's fair.
My understanding is that was the challenge, that he said, is it will make title versus title. So whether that match, though it was contingent, and given that Cody didn't win, and nobody has given an update as to what that means, whether the match will still go on or not.
So maybe it's off, and maybe that's why they call the Okada match the first official match on the card.
Yeah, because the previous match was contingent, so they couldn't label it as an official match until they knew whether it was happening or not.
Fair. I'm surprised the place I got this news from didn't remember that. That seems like something they would remember.
Anyway, Slammiversary, going to Impact for a second. Slammiversary will air live exclusively on Fight.tv in the UK and international markets. Emanating from the Rebel Entertainment Complex in Toronto, it'll be streamed live and subsequently available on demand, marking the first time a pay-per-view event will be available for purchase for fans in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and other countries.
Okay.
So that's cool. In the main event at Slammiversary, former NFL offensive lineman Moose will challenge Austin Aries for the Impact World title. The Undead Bride Sue Young, a.k.a. the wife of Can't Handle This, will defend her Knockouts title against the former five-time holder Madison Rayne. They'll also feature the returns of Johnny Impact, who will be featured on the 37th season of Survivor, and the New Japan Pro Wrestling star, the Bone Soldier of the Bullet Club, Taji Ishimori. So that'll be happening. And Slammiversary will be on July 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll certainly check that out. The hell?
Since we're talking independence and impacts, did you hear the little snippet from Mayor Cody's interview?
I did not.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I saw there was an article something about he thought that WWE would be foolish not to sign him, or that it would be foolish for him not to go there.
Well, he was asked if he and for those following at home, we're talking, of course, about Kenny Omega. He was asked if he would ever like wrestle in WWE and stuff, and he said that yeah, he sees himself going back to WWE at one point. He said there's a lot of talent everywhere that I would love to wrestle, and WWE has a lot of good talent and a lot of depth to their roster, and I'd love to wrestle some of them, like AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura and stuff like that. And he said, I do see myself before the end of my career going to WWE to at least wrestle those matches I want to wrestle. So he is open to negotiation for at least working part-time for WWE just to wrestle some dream matches. So we may yet see Kenny Omega in WWE.
All right, then.
Of course, one of the dream matches we all want to see is Kenny Omega and the Elite versus the New Day.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So it seems like Kenny Omega, over the years and through his maturity, has softened up on his anti-WWE stance.
Fair enough. Speaking of big pay-per-views,
mm-hmm.
So WrestleMania 35 will be coming up before long.
Yes.
And WSVN TV's Chris Van Vliet sent this into Raja.
Love that guy. Best interviewer out there. Wrestling interviewer out there.
Okay.
That's the guy I was talking about the other day, who did the interviews with like Simon Gotch and Adam Rose and stuff like that.
Okay.
Go check out his YouTube channel. He's fucking amazing as an interviewer.
Good to know. Well, this week he interviewed Shaq.
Oh, yes. I didn't see the interview, but I heard about this.
He was interviewing Shaq as he's promoting the upcoming movie Uncle Drew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw the trailer for that movie.
No, but I saw the trailer for the movie. It looks really, really bad, about geriatric basketball stars played by current basketball stars, but with old makeup.
Yeah.
That looks so bad.
That would be the movie.
Is that what that's called? I thought it was called something else.
No, that's Uncle Drew.
That looks so fucking bad.
Uncle Drew. Yeah. For those that don't know, by the way, the Uncle Drew character originated in a series of Pepsi commercials a few years ago.
Okay.
And now they're making it a movie.
Of course they are. Why not? Wayne's World became a movie.
True. But that was a sketch on a sketch comedy show, not a TV commercial.
No, but it's, for all intents and purposes, the same thing. It's about the same length.
No, not really. A TV commercial runs about 30 seconds. An SNL sketch usually runs a good, depending on the sketch, 5, 8, 10 minutes.
True.
Anyway, so they asked Shaq, would he still like to wrestle the Big Show at WrestleMania? And Shaq replied that, well, next April, I got a little time to get these back up, and he flexes his muscles. You ready for that Big Show? I don't think you are, baby. Oh, can't squeeze that? Can't squeeze a rock, can you? I'll think about it. And he still says he doesn't know what happened to the match at WrestleMania 33. He says, off the court, he's one of my favorite people. Nicest guy. I've always been a fan of his. I would have loved that match to go down, but I don't know what happened. Still saying it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. Big man Shaq issuing a challenge to a man that just came off the operating table for hip replacement. You know damn well Big Show's probably not going to actually wrestle again.
I don't know. I mean, WWE did just re-sign him.
Yeah, but probably has more enhancement talent to enhance other people.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean he can't still get one last hurrah having a match against Shaq. It's not like Shaq is going to push him to a wrestling limit.
All right, well, we'll have to see how well he can move.
Yeah.
Because, hip replacement is nothing to, shake off. Ask The Undertaker.
No. True, but giving it a little time, you can. I mean, it does absolute wonders. I've seen people who were like, people that I've known who were like walking like with a cane or a walker and like could barely move, and they had the hip replacement. And yeah, they were down for maybe a month or two, but then I mean they were moving around like it was not like it was incredible.
Yeah, Taker looked good, but he still didn't look like 100%.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But also, the Big Show isn't like most people. He's 7 feet fucking tall.
True.
So he's going to have other issues that us normal folk down here in miniature land don't have to deal with.
Well, realize though, he's a large man, but everything in him is proportionate. So yeah, he would need a proportionately larger new hip, but it would accomplish the same thing.
Right. Now we'll see. Although it does help that he lost weight. He's like under 400 pounds now, so that'll help a lot.
That does help quite a bit.
I believe he said he was like at 396 or something like that. So the more svelte Big Show. He's the svelte show.
Okay, then. I mean, you got to remember, Big Show is out and about and doing stuff for the Special Olympics, so it's not like he's laid up.
Well, no, he can walk around. There's a difference between walking around and doing daily life stuff and wrestling.
No, I mean, the dude looks like he could go. I mean, he looks like he's in great shape.
And that'd be great if he was. I wouldn't mind seeing that match. I wouldn't mind seeing him come back and kicking some ass for a little bit.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to our final story this week.
Sure.
Thinking of people who kick ass in the ring. We'll cover this up. Probably to the surprise of nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And obviously, this prior announcer was known to be coming, but last weekend, as part of a ceremony held as part of International Fight Week in Las Vegas, Nevada, our own Rowdy Ronda Rousey became the first woman ever to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Well deserved.
Indeed. There were some video packages. Dana White gave an induction speech, said that in 18 years he's learned a lot of things, but most importantly, never say never, and admitted that Rousey was the one who changed his mind about allowing women to fight in the UFC, and in doing so, she changed the world. He said he was shocked at the backlash when they signed Rousey and then announced that she would headline the show over Dan Henderson and Lyoto Machida. He said that she proved that not only could women fight, but they could also sell tickets and pay-per-views. Oh. He said that Rousey launched a women's revolution.
Wow.
Empowering women to fight on and never take no for an answer.
Wow.
Was that intentional?
Wow. Wow. Did he steal CM Punk's pipe bomb before he fired him?
Yeah, and interestingly, during the video package, they did not have her theme music. I'm assuming WWE bought the rights to it.
Probably.
But, she was quite well talked up, was accompanied by her husband, Travis Brown. Apparently, she did come out to the match, so she was able to come out to it, but they apparently couldn't use it for the video package. So.
Or maybe they didn't get the rights to it in time for the making of the video package.
Maybe. WWE commented on this, putting out an article adding that the baddest woman on the planet becomes the first woman enshrined in UFC's Hall of Fame. Ronda Rousey was formally inducted into UFC's Hall of Fame during tonight's ceremony in Las Vegas. The baddest woman on the planet was enshrined into the modern wing of the UFC's Hall of Fame, thanks to her historic reign as UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion. As title holder, Rousey was known for ending fights almost instantly with her signature armbar, a maneuver used to great success in a dominant stint from 13 to 15. Was inducted by UFC President Dana White, spoke candidly during her acceptance speech about her support she received from fans and the remarkable impact she made during her career, saying, "I look around and think together we built this division, this sport, this revolution," she said. "Together we have redefined what it means to be strong, to be sexy. We've changed what it means to fight like a girl." She joins fellow Hall of Famers Forrest Griffin, BJ Penn, and Uriah Faber in the modern wing. And as mentioned, is the first woman to.
Did WWE write her speech?
I don't know.
We've redefined what it means to fight like a girl. You know, I've proven that you could be sexy and still be able to fight. It's like, that sounds like something WWE would put together. That sounds like their entire fucking women's tagline. You remember that back in coming out of the Attitude Era? That strong, sexy, beautiful thing.
I remember. Also, it's an interesting point. This may be just a cover for what they're planning on doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is worth noting that it's been noted in several places that The Miz is not going to be at Extreme Rules.
Okay.
He's apparently going to be in the hashtag MLB All-Star Celebrity Softball game.
Oh, that's a possibility. Well, if that's the case, then I don't know how the hell Extreme Rules is gonna turn out, because it's been reported that Kane doesn't have a very long contract. He's just kind of there to do a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah, which makes sense considering he did win the primary for mayor.
Yeah. This is kind of his, well, I got nothing else better to do. Hey, Brian, let's go kick some ass.
Yep. So we will wait and see.
Indeed.
Anyway.
Also, just so we're caught up on all the rumors, the rumor mill is once again in full force with the rumor that WWE is once again considering a women's tag division.
Ah.
So we'll see about that.
Well, more power to them if they do.
Mm-hmm. They certainly have enough women for that. They have enough teams for that.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Oh, who was asked? I think it was Becky Lynch was asked about that. In an interview, and because I remember that's kind of where that came up. That WWE might be interested, because she was talking about how there used to be one and all that stuff, and that whole controversy around Fabulous Moolah and all that stuff. She didn't mention it directly, but she mentioned there used to be one and stuff, and she mentioned that she felt there was enough women now to actually warrant potentially bringing it back. She was like, we have enough women that could actually do it. And they asked, if you were going to bring the women's tag division into WWE, how would you do it? Would you have a belt for each show and stuff like that? And she said, no, I don't think we have enough to do it independently on each show. It would have to be cross show for the time being until we get more women up from NXT and stuff. But with how many women WWE has overall in the organization, there would be more than enough to actually facilitate having the titles on both shows eventually.
Right.
But she says there's enough talent up on the main roster now that if they wanted to bring a tag title in, they could do it. It would just have to be a cross-branded title.
Right.
Which might be the one reason they won't do it, given, the recent TV dealings.
Right.
Competing networks and all that.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to share a title. They're going to be like, no, we didn't pay billions of dollars to share a title with our competitors.
Yeah. I guess it depends on exactly the wording of the contract and who has control over those sort of things.
Mm-hmm. We won't know until next year.
Nope.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to see a women's tag division. I think that'd be good, especially since they've been pushing women's tag teams and factions for like the better part of the last year. I think it'd be kind of cool. And it would certainly give like all the women who aren't involved in the main event feud something to do. Something to fight for.
Yeah.
Like Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah. Could certainly work. Particularly if they are planning on bringing in more women after this year's Mae Young Classic.
Which they probably will. I see Kairi Sane coming up. I see probably Nikki Cross finally coming up.
Indeed.
And they're not going to hire Io Shirai and not bring her up within the next 6 months.
Right.
And other high profile stars like Deonna Purrazzo and stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's been the news. Thank you for joining me. And if you see any news and you think we should cover it, let us know.
Absolutely. Comment section, people.
Yeah, well, comment section or shoot us a tweet at
League OG.
I believe it's at the League OG, but let me verify that because I don't actually know off the top of my head.
Yeah, we always keep it logged in, so we don't actually look at what it is. We probably should.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Yes, at League OG. Capital L on League OG on Twitter if you'd like to tweet us with anything you think that we should know.
Indeed.
And we will definitely get back to you on that. All right, and with that, we will see you tomorrow for our usual recapping of the scores and so on and so forth.
Indeed.
Peace.
I'll never back down from a fight.